Investigator, you have to have a license, and then you get access to these databases. And over here in the States, they're making it more difficult for us to have access to these database information.
Right. So that's stuff like metadata or metadata. So that, like phone records and that sort of stuff. You're having difficulty getting hold of.
Yeah. They made obtaining phone records unlawful about 7 years ago in the States. Here, you used to be able to get people's copy of their phone bill. And there was no problems with it, but now if you do it, you're getting a little trouble if you get it now. They made it illegal, so our fear of all this information is making your job harder. Then is what you're saying. Oh yeah, I would. If you're a licensed PI, your job is getting harder. If you're doing everything the right way, it's getting harder. You can still get the stuff on the black market. There's the dark web. You can get all kinds of stuff is for sale. Credit reports are for sale. Tax returns are for sale. But legally, it's much more difficult to do your work legally. Yeah.
Right. Now, not talking about you, obviously, but the obvious question is how many PIs work in that. PRs are difficult. That's another dark side. But how many PIs are sort of working on the dark web and getting this stuff illegally then and paying for it?
I would say it's a smaller percentage. It's about 25%. Most PIs here in the States, they're retired cops, and they're very wary of breaking any rules, of breaking any laws and stuff like that. They're very quick to rat each other out, too. If they see another PI they're jealous of, and they know they're buying and selling information, they're very quick to rat them out.
Yeah, and I guess, some of this might be needed in a court as well at some point. So if you're pursuing somebody and they're wanting to lay charges down the track, then obviously you've got to be squeaky clean.
I tell you, the option of getting someone's phone records, okay, that we were doing for years and years and years with no problems, really. If I wanted to investigate Phil Dobbie for infidelity, I could get a copy of your phone records, see who you're calling. I could tell your wife if you're cheating or not. And no one was getting hurt by this. So it made things much more difficult. That was a great tool of investigation for anybody. Even the NSA likes to use that,
Yeah, well, look, I can tell you, our phone isn't used at all at home, my mobile. You can go through it. You're not going to find anything. So how do you do that now then? What do you do now? Let's take that as an example. If my wife was suspicious, she says, you go away every Saturday night. You should be going out for dinner with me. You tell me you're doing a radio program. I've never heard of this radio station. I can't find it. I think you're lying. What would you do if you're working for her?
Well, what I do is I invented a search called an online infidelity investigation, and your wife would give me Phil Dobbie's email address, and I would trace that back to online dating websites and personal ads, and catch you cheating online that way. That's the first thing I always suggest to do. Another thing you could do is if your wife could send me an old hard drive or an old cell phone that you have, we can take the phone itself and we recover the data off of that phone. We'll get all the deleted texts, all the deleted phone numbers, the deleted pictures, images, caller ID. You got a ton of information off a phone. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Do you know what I'd do as well? This is maybe I'm in the wrong line of business. Maybe I should be in your line of business. If someone walks out of a room and you can get into their phone, you could get them to sort of agree. You could send an email to them and respond to the email to accept that you are going to allow them to, Google tracking, because you've got this, you can find, because I can see, my wife can actually see me on Google where I am at any point in time and vice versa. Not because we don't trust each other, but sometimes it's easier when I'm going to pick her up from the train or whatever. And it's scary because when I go and look at that Google tool, go and look on Google Maps, I can see where I've been for the last year. And I think she can too, which is a huge amount of information which Google's holding.
And yeah, absolutely. There's even spyware out there where I can email you or text you a message, and if you click on it, like a little trap link I would send to you, then I could see everything on your phone as well remotely. But again, that's unlawful.
Yeah, of course. But I guess that's the key thing, isn't it? That's the key question that you're asking repeatedly. Where was that person at that time? That's a key investigative tool, because if you're the place of a crime, or you're at the same place every week, which might be somebody who's known to the family, and you're suspecting an affair, then that's circumstantial perhaps, but it's very powerful stuff.
Oh yeah, with the old iPhones, when the iPhone first came out, I think it was like the first 3 versions, we had a location tracking download. We could download every location that phone had ever been with, and we can find the tower it was on, and also the GPS location of the phone. So we would track them at a specific case. We tracked this woman from the gym to the Starbucks to her trainer's apartment. Okay, in one day. All right. Now as soon as this hit the news, we were doing this for years. It was great. As soon as it hit the news, there was a big thing. iPhone is spying on your whereabouts, and they're tracking you. Blah blah blah. And iPhone made it impossible to capture that information. Without a warrant. Today, with a search warrant, you can still get that information because these phones all have GPS in them now. Do you know what I mean? So you can, and even too, the GPS in your car too. Those old, you can download that information too and find every location where a car's been for 3 years, many years.
Yeah. I guess, if you can get a warrant, there's a lot more information. And so that's when you start to be able to get what you were saying you could get before, like phone records. Can you get access to, can the police get access to browsing data and that sort of stuff?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Especially if they can get the device. If they get their hands on the device, you have a gold mine of information. Otherwise, if you're the cops, you're in law enforcement, you have or a civil suit and you have a subpoena, you have a court order. You could subpoena Google, you can MySpace, Facebook, and get all that data as well. It's a huge amount of data you get from there.
Yeah, and it becomes the network, doesn't it? So if you know that you have called... And, I think anti-terror experts work this way as well. If they find somebody has called from the call records, there's a number that they call regularly, then they look at that number and they see who that person is and see who they've called regularly as well. So you start to build up a web of all these people who are potentially working together. And, if you see somewhere within that web with someone who's known to be somebody who you're after, then you know that, you've perhaps got some co-conspirators here.
Absolutely. And I'll even tell people, because some people tell me, hey, I think I'm being spied on. I think someone's reading my emails or someone's tracking my phone. It may not be you. You may not be the target of the investigation. It could be someone you dated or someone who called you up. That's the real target, and you got caught up in it.
Yeah. So what about, it's illegal, of course, to tap phones, but is it a technology that still works? Can you tap a phone? Is it harder these days with mobiles, for example?
Well, like I said, yeah, if you can send them that link and they click on the link, if you can do this knowingly, where if you want to track your own phone, there's certain series of...
Find My Phone.
Exactly,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can also do that surreptitiously, too, and tap somebody else's phone. It happens, sure. And to wiretap someone's house phone is still the same old technology there ever was. And now with these handheld digital recorders that you could just buy at Radio Shack or Best Buy, they record for 24 hours, 48 hours. You got a battery in there. You just leave it in the car, voice activated. It could be in there for a month,
But is that flouting the law? Is that an invasion? I'm not quite sure what the regulations are in America. If you're recording someone without their knowledge, that presumably is against the law.
Yeah, 100%. If you're recording somebody without their knowledge, that's unlawful. Okay, but if it's a two-party conversation, and I know that some states it's okay. Like in New York City, it's a one-party state, we call it. So if I know I'm recording me and Phil Dobbie over the telephone or in an in-person meeting, it's okay because one party knows. In California, both parties have to know.
I wonder where it's going to go with facial recognition technology. I know, we hear stories about how law enforcement and anti-terrorist experts are using it now. If you've got crowd scenes, can they identify faces, known faces, the people that they're looking for? I guess as that technology develops, that becomes a bit scary, doesn't it? Because you then get into the situation where you get sort of like false positives. Someone just happens to be there, but they get the blame.
Well, yeah, not only that, too, but even on Facebook, they have, I get all the time pictures of someone that doesn't look like me at all, in my opinion. And they're saying, hey, Ed, is this you?
Someone far better looking.
I know, a guy looked like Robert De Niro, and they were asking me if it was me. I says, what?
Oh, well, I'll accept it, yeah, they got the wrong end of the stick. But, yeah, if they think I look like Robert De Niro, that's fine. I'll accept it, yeah. So, and they do, that is, I guess on Facebook, they do that. They try and... put people together and get you to identify it. And I guess if that just happens to come up in your feed, and it just happens to show that you were somewhere where you were last Saturday night, and your wife sees it, and you're with someone you don't want her to see, then that can be a problem too.
Absolutely, and that's another thing we do too. If we're investigating infidelity too, we don't just search out the husband's Facebook and his MySpace and Twitter and all that kind of stuff too. We find out who the suspects who he could be dating, because a lot of times the other woman wants to post those pictures. She wants to break up the marriage. You know that she's a troublemaker. So, and you find her site, and then she's got pictures of him on there.
Right. So what do you? It's an interesting line of work. It's a funny one, isn't it? Because I guess, I mean, if you are, is a lot of your work exploring infidelity? Is that a big chunk of it?
It is. You know, it is. Also, a criminal defense. You'd be shocked. A lot of stuff, man. I just had to locate this young girl recently. We found her, and then she was on heroin, and I had to get her down to a rehab and detox, and I was with her for days. So you never know what's going to develop. You know, it's So, I mean, on the infidelity thing, I guess it's... Because part of me thinks, well, you know, I don't know. It just feels a little bit grubby. But on the other side, I don't know. I mean, the marriage is almost over, isn't it? I mean, if you've got a partner who's suspicious, the whole thing's over already, surely. Well, yeah, that's interesting, too, because I can talk to a client on the phone for about 10 minutes, and I could tell if there's really infidelity there, or they're just paranoid, and there's just an obsessively jealous person. Or a lot of times, too, the spouse will know. They know in their heart, but they just need some kind of piece of paper or a proof or a professional to provide them with something, because these couples, they get in each other's heads to such a degree that they're like mind controlling each other, and they'll make you think you're crazy. The guy could be going out cheating every night, and he just makes his wife think she's crazy for suspecting him, and she needs a picture of something. She needs some kind of proof. And sometimes we really get it with those online infidelity investigations. We'll message the guy with a phone number, and he'll call up the number, and we trap the number so we get his phone number calling in, and then we record him leaving messages, and the guy's begging, yeah, come on, meet me tonight, my wife's busy. You know, so sometimes you really get some really good dirt on them.
Excellent stuff. So that very quickly, finally, I mean, if you, given that all of this is going on, I mean, whether people are using the information legally or illegally, what steps would you take to make sure no one's getting, access to information about you? Even if you're not breaking the law, you just want to protect your privacy. What sort of things? I guess number one is make sure you've got your mobile phone with you all the time, so no one can get hold of it and start laying stuff on it.
Yeah, I tell you, keep the battery out of it. I don't carry a mobile phone, to tell you the truth. If you want to really get extreme, don't carry a mobile phone at all. It's really not what.
Plus, I live in the hills.
Yeah. But also, if you really want to get extreme, that there's extreme steps you could take to get right off the grid. And not be able, no one could find you. Any kind of database searches, any kind of credit header report searches, they won't be able to find you. You can feed false information into these databases so that they can't find you and throw you off the track. For privacy, just general privacy, for things like surfing the web and Craigslist and debating people online, just create a separate email address just for that. And there's Google phone numbers you can get that are largely untraceable. But the thing is, just be suspicious of everybody that contacts you. If someone's sending you a link or a phone number, they want you to call them back. Just be very wary of everything. I'm very careful. No one could really get through me. I'm very careful with all that stuff. I spot it coming.
Very good. And look, the easiest answer is if you don't want to get caught, of course, don't cheat on your spouse is probably a good starting point to it all, isn't it? Ed, it's been fascinating talking to you. Look, I'd like to do it again sometime. It's an interesting life you lead, and I'm sure a lot of other people are fascinated. And great podcast as well. For those people who want to hear more, it's called the Opperman Report, isn't it?
That's right, Opperman Report.
And just Google it and you'll find it. Great. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Phil.
Soon.
Good night.
There we are. That's Ed Opperman, host of the Opperman Report, private investigator, talking to us from Nevada. And, interesting stuff. Love Sport Radio.
I just need to tell you that this state...